Hi, I'm Mimi.
I'm Emily.
And we're killing time. It's a show about true friends.
Talking about all things true crime.
Today's theme:
Silver Slayers. I don't know what
with
this
the walker
is. Oh yeah, they got the walker. Yeah, it's the elderly gone wrong.
Come over here, I'm gonna kill you. I need you to come here because my back hurts.
You better hold my rope grip to you by Tuesday.
I'm gonna get you. They're like rolling up with a knife and the scooter. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's what we're doing today, guys.
Silver Slayers. It sounds so much sexier than.
Yeah, it's actually very sad.
Mm-hmm.
This is a show about murder, after all, guys. Come on.
Yeah, stop laughing, Mimi.
No, that's good. So I go first, right?
You go first, dear.
Okay, so this guy is a huge piece of doo-doo, so, like, make fun of him as much as you want, actually. Like, make jokes about him.
Burn. You piece of doo-doo.
Piece of doo-doo. And do you like I feel like a poodle today. Y'all like my hair? More importantly, do you like my earrings? They're from Art Pool Gallery in St. Pete. They didn't sponsor me to do this. They're just a small business that I really, really love. And
amazing, aren't they? They are fire. I love them. They're lit.
They're the best earring
They're amazing.
place. Like, seriously, Art Pool Gallery.
You need to take me there.
I will for sure.
She should be taking me there.
Sorry. Okay, so anyways, my Silver Slayer, I cheat a little bit for this one because he's not silver for like the first half of the story.
Oh, okay.
But like it works.
So we grow to hate him.
It's gradual, yes. But it works. You'll see at the end. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So this is Albert Flick. He was born in 1941. Literally not much on his like childhood or anything. But so in 1979, Albert is married to his first wife, I believe, is named Sandra. They live together in Lewiston, Maine. We're in Maine for the story today. I don't know much about Maine. I've been there. I don't know much about it though.
I've never been there, but I hear they have amazing lobster rolls.
I don't like lobster, so
what?
I keep saying they are literally the bugs of the ocean.
Yeah, I've eaten crickets.
Oh well,
they were covered in chocolate.
A little better. Were they like crunchy though?
Oh my god, it was like if you imagine what eating a cockroach would be. You know, like the way that the texture is, it's the same.
Oh, so it's like a bug gusher. It's like crunchy, and then it's like.
No, there was no like squirt.
Okay. I don't know why you said cockroach. I'm like, oh, so it like squirts out.
Because when I tried it, at first I was like, oh, it's fine, you know, the chocolate. And then like you take another bite and then you're like, it really tastes like there's a bug in my food. And then you're like, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I need to be adventurous? What am I trying to prove?
You don't need to prove anything to us, Mimi.
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
you. Thank you. And thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right.
So we're in Lewiston,
back to
Maine.
Mr. Flick.
Albert Flick and his wife Sandra, and then they live with their daughter Elsie. I'm sorry, not their daughter. It's Sandra's daughter from a previous marriage. Albert works at a donut shop. That's pretty much it.
It sounds like I should be dating him.
So he's like kind of like in his 40s, 50s at this point. He's working at a donut shop, whatever. And then in January 1979, Sandra's like divorce papers. You're getting divorced. Serves him divorce
You're done,
papers.
donut man. Take your freaking donuts out of here.
Get out of here.
Your donuts suck anyway.
I secretly go to Dunkin' every day.
Oh, you slut.
That's bad. But I guess it was bad enough she had to call the cops to escort him, like, off the home. So, not great. So, calls the cops, escorts him, and then 3 weeks later calls him, and...
But you would think a donut man would be sweeter.
You would think!
Thank you, I'm here all night. Woo!
So, she has the police escort them, and then 3 weeks later, she calls him and is like...
I'm tired of your shit being in this house. Come and get your shit.
Get your shit, get your donuts, and get the F out.
Get out. Get your donut making, your little hat and apron. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just get out.
So he comes over, and Elise, Sandra's daughter, is like in her room, in another room, doing her own thing. When she knows Albert comes over, and Albert and Sandra get in a physical altercation. They start to yell, and then he eventually like twists her arm backwards and like hits her. And Elise is like a young daughter; she's in the other room watching, just scared. Eventually, it got really bad where Elise got up and ran to the neighbors for help. And she gets a neighbor, and they come back. And when they come back, Albert is gone. They actually pass him leaving the house, and he's covered in blood. And they arrive to the house, and Sandra has been stabbed 14 times. She's dying, and her last words before she dies are to the neighbors saying, Albert did this.
And they were like, duh, stupid. We saw him. We knew that wasn't jelly on that apron, girl.
And she died.
Oh.
Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Terrible.
So Flick was sentenced to 30 years in prison for that. But we know what that means. He was out in 21 on good behavior. Whatever the fuck that means.
I'm not a big fan of if you murdered someone horribly, that you should be out in good behavior.
14 times. 14, I think that's correct.
Like, even if
14 times.
Even if they make you do your whole sentence, it's not, it's not life, but you have to at least go through the whole sentence. I feel like if it was a brutal murder, there should be no good behavior points.
Well, wait. It gets worse.
No.
It gets worse. So 21 years later, he gets out. We're going to fast forward where he's been out for a little while. It's 2007. In 2007, he's out, and he was arrested for assaulting one of the women that he was dating. And the police report said that he was punching her and stabbing her with a restaurant fork. He's 66 years old at this point.
Damn, doughboy. Like, what?
Yeah.
What's with the anger problem?
So he's 66 years old, and he was arrested again. In 2010, at almost 70 years old, Albert was in an argument with a woman, not sure about the relationship, doesn't really say. I assume he was probably stalking her, though. He managed to put her in a headlock and chase her around with a screwdriver.
Jesus.
Yeah, this man, Albert, you got some problems.
You know what, though? Of course he got out on good behavior, because he's not going to do that to a man.
Of course.
He's a woman beater and a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Like you said, doo-doo.
Okay, law enforcement, these are things we need to take into consideration, okay? Judges.
Yeah. Yeah, if he's only tough with women,
put him in a women's prison and see he won't. Well, don't do that. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly. You can't compare the two. You can't say he's not a threat anymore because he didn't do anything to a guy. He's a bitch. Anyway.
He's a bitch.
He's a donut bitch.
He's a donut bitch.
Doughboy bitch.
He had this woman in a headlock. He's chasing her around with a screwdriver. She manages to escape. She tells the police exactly who it is. When they find him, he's trying to kill himself, but they're like, no, you don't get the easy way out. We're going to arrest ya. Mm-hmm. So they arrest him. This is in 2010. He's about 70 years old when this is happening. So he's already murdered one woman, assaulted another woman, and now he's 70 years old.
Yeah.
No, assaulting another woman with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
Of all things. He was sentenced to only 4 years for this incident. The judge claimed that this story actually made national news. The judge claimed he was far too old to actually be a threat, so anything more than 4 years sentence would be inhumane.
Oh yeah, because he's not inhumane.
Yeah, because clearly at 70 he's no longer a threat.
Yeah, when those women are probably old too, so he is a threat to them.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Come
about
on.
Ages. Yeah, they said he was too old to continue engaging in violent behavior. So,
we agree he was too old for that shit, but was he going to stop?
Literally. No. The prosecutor was outraged, claiming that Albert was a danger to, quote, women and society.
I agree.
Yeah, It's pretty bad. So in 2014, it's been 4 years, he's released. He ran into the woman that he was arrested for assaulting. And
you're not running anywhere, Albert.
Just casually.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you woman.
He's got his sweatpants on, his
his
little weights on his, and he's doing the little old person walk where they're just walking super slow.
Yeah, right.
But they're just doing this. And he's like,
we got a lot of those in our neighborhood.
and then he was like, oh, what? There you are.
Oh my god, I haven't seen you for ages. You'll get yours.
That's what he said to her. He said, you'll get yours. So he was sentenced to 2 more years for violating probation for threatening her and doing that.
Albert, you're just not learning.
He is not a good dude. 2016. Doo-doo. I said that
We
at the beginning.
stand by that.
Doo-doo head.
Yeah. You're the doo-doo donut boy.
Ew. You suck.
Mm-hmm.
And it still gets worse from here. So he spent a majority of his life in and out of prison. He's an old man now. He serves his 2 years for violating his probation. So we're in 2016 now. And he moves in. He still lives in Maine, and he moves in with his younger nephew because he couldn't find a place to stay. Boys, don't let your murderous uncle move in with you.
The more you know.
Just don't do it, guys.
Yeah, if they brutally murdered people and have a pattern of bad behavior, just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm moving to Thailand.
Can't do it.
Sorry. I wish you would have caught me last year. You were in jail.
So he's living with his nephew, and now we're getting into the incident he's actually famous for.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's not good. So while in a local library, Albert meets Kim Dobby, who is a 48-year-old mother with 2 twin sons who are 11 years old. According to Kim's friends, Kim was a really positive and energetic person who went to the ends of the earth to care for her children. She was a teaching assistant. She was trying really hard, making their way up in the world, trying to provide for the sons as a single mother. So yeah, Albert became really infatuated with Kim. You know, tried to follow her around, tried to even buy, the news articles say, quote, nutritious meals for her children. And she took those because obviously they're her children, but then she was very much so, I don't want anything to do with you. She even told her friends that he was like,
he's fucking old.
He's old.
I'm 49.
He's
Excuse me. He's old. He's creepy.
old. So
yeah.
We're in 2018. He is 77 years old right now. 77 years old. So, you know, Kim is like, okay, whatever, creepy old man, leave me alone. So on July 15th, 2018, Albert is following Kim and her sons around. They were at a Dunkin' Donuts. I didn't realize how prominent donuts were in this story. They were at a Dunkin' Donuts. And then
he's like,
she didn't ask me to make those for her. God damn it!
Followed them to the Dunkin', and then they went to a laundromat. She put a load in and then stepped outside to use her cell phone to make a call. Her 2 twin sons were on the sidewalk outside playing with toys, and Albert walks up to Kim and just begins stabbing her, profusely stabbing her. 2 bystanders saw the attack and immediately started attacking Albert. You know, they're like, what the hell? They called 911. They tried to get Kim assistance.
They're like, I can take him. He's 80.
Kim did not make it.
Oh.
She passed away.
Come on.
The total was 11 stab wounds. And yeah, her kids were right there playing on the sidewalk and watched the whole thing happen.
And children, because they were playing with toys. Like,
yeah.
My God, that's so
horrible.
awful.
This was a man that was deemed to be too old to continue his violent ways.
Yeah.
And he's killed someone before and has a history of assaulting women. Guys, come on!
Yeah, like, so what if he's too old? Put him away. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
So horrible. So they went to trial. The jury wasn't even allowed to hear of his prior charges. So they didn't know that he was a previous murderer. They didn't know. Because you know how sometimes people will be like, hey, we want this dismissed. We don't want this evidence. We don't want it tampering.
Right, it's a prejudice.
Right, whatever. So they weren't allowed to hear that. It didn't matter. They only deliberated for 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, yeah, this dude's guilty of sin. And the judge sentenced him, I believe, to the rest of his old-ass life in prison. As it should have been in the first place.
Is he still in jail or is he still alive?
He's still in jail.
damn, like, he just won't die.
He just won't die.
And that just proves what I've been saying forever. Only the good die young. Evil lives forever.
True. It's so true. But like,
fucking die, Albert!
this was so preventable. Like,
it was.
so beyond. I'm happy I went first because this one was short and not sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is an old man with such a history of violence against women and just society. I like that the prosecutor said women and society. Like,
Oh yes, we are our own category. Yeah. We don't belong to society. We're not there yet. No, I'm just on another planet.
You suck, Albert. We hate you.
that's my Silver Slayer.
Oh.
I wonder if they get YouTube in jail. We don't like you.
Yeah, we're women, and guess what? You suck, Albert!
I really hope he doesn't get off on good behavior.
Like, I have to find these women who murdered you. Video about me.
That's fucking it! I'm tired of you girls!
Guys, if we're both murdered, Albert did it.
Yeah, look at Albert or any of the other. Look at our
Any
other
of our
shows. Give us some views on our other shows and investigate that shit. We've been investigating all these cases for you guys.
Come on.
Someone might get us. Well, that was excellent. It was a great storytelling of a horrible, horrible man.
It's been a minute since we've done these full episodes, so I was a little rusty, but
Yeah.
fuck that guy.
Yeah. You know what? For some reason, I have like a little bit of curiosity to know, like, how good were the donuts? Like, were you good at anything, Albert?
Anything in your life, or do you just all around?
Yeah.
suck?
Or are you just shit from top to bottom? T to B. Doo-doo.
My guess is T to B. Okay, now I get to. I love going first. I like get to like sit back and
Well, my
maybe
Silver
not sit
Slayer.
back. Maybe I'll be on the edge of my seat. Who knows?
I don't know. It is the Silver Slayers. A little bit of murder, she wrote, if you will. My Silver Slayer is what I believe to be the most silver of all the Slayers that I could think of.
Was the murder weapon a walker?
No,
Wait, okay.
it wasn't a
That would be
walker,
funny.
but wait till you hear the unfolding of elderliness that's about
Oh my
to come into your life.
Okay.
You're gonna need some Ben Gay after this one.
Oh my god. I'm excited.
So my Silver Slayer is Virginia Hyatt.
Okay. Like of the Hyatt family?
No,
I'm just kidding.
no.
I don't know. Is Hyatt a family? Are they like the Hiltons?
Oh, I don't know.
The Marriotts?
Well,
I don't know.
it's
Are the
spelled
Marriotts
exactly the
family?
same with the 2 T's and everything. So
That's too funny.
it could be. It
If
could
I
be.
had a last name like that, I would totally be like, oh yeah, of the Hyatt family.
Yeah, I'm a Hyatt actually. So this is a little story, starting with Patty Wheelington in Texarkana, which is half Arkansas, half Texas. It's like on the border. In December 3rd, 2013, Patty Wheelington was found.
That's such an old person name.
Yes, I told you, it's very silver.
Patty Whittington.
So Patty in Texarkana was discovered dead on her porch
Aw.
by her best friends, Barb and Phyllis.
They're so old. Were they coming over to play bridge?
No, but they were bridge friends.
Of course they were.
And they frequented the bingo.
Oh my god, of course they did. Like, let's go pick up Patty for bingo. Oh my god!
So they go over there because their friend, Kevin Caldwell, said,
Barb and Phyllis, Patty never picked me up to go to my doctor's appointment.
Oh
And I talked to her this morning, and she never came over.
and they tried to reach her, probably on one of those spinny phones, rotary.
no!
So
If you don't know what that is, you're probably too young to be watching a murder
Yeah.
true crime show. Just,
exactly, Google it, okay? So they go over
oh,
there,
wrong one.
Barb and Phyllis, and they pull into the driveway. They walk up to the door, and right outside the door, they find Patty laying there in her robe, right on her porch,
Aw.
with her cigarette still in between her
Oh,
fingers.
that's how I don't even smoke. That's how I want to go.
And
in
Phyllis
my
said,
robe.
I think Patty dead. With tears in her eyes. You know, the
I'm
elderly
laughing,
crying.
but it's so sad.
The elderly crying is the most pitiful thing you could ever see.
No, a man crying. A man crying just like breaks.
For me, it's grandpas. Like old man grandpas. Like you see that, and like if you don't cry, you're Albert Flick.
You're heartless.
Yeah. So they come up. They call the police immediately because she was completely unconscious, and they touched her, and she was cold. So she was already like stiff. So they knew she had been there for a while. So they call the police. And they come and investigate, and the police is like, well, what about you two bitches? How do you guys know? Like, it could have been you guys.
We're bingo buddies.
And they were like, no, our friend Kevin McLeod called us and told us that, to go check on our friend Patty. Now, Patty, she was this vivacious, she was about 10 years younger than all of her friends.
Oh, okay.
So they're all in their 70s and 80s, right? And she's like 69 and feeling fine, So Patty moved to Texarkana. She was from New England originally, and she got a job after college working with senior citizens. Aww. And then while she was working with senior citizens, she met her husband, and he was 30 years older than her. Oh. He had no kids. He was just like a confirmed bachelor.
Can you imagine that? Thinking like, oh, so when you were 30... I was born.
He was 60 when they got married, and she was like in her 30s.
Strange.
So they never had kids, but they were like best friends, right? Aww. And she took so well to like the southern lifestyle of Texarkana, and then she even took well to his favorite hobby, square dancing.
Okay.
The most silver story I got. So her husband was the caller of square dancing. So he was like, swing your partner around and round.
I don't think that's it.
No, it might be. I don't know. I wasn't there. But so she was like the first lady of square dancing, right? So they joined this club called the Guys and Dolls. And the Guys and Dolls is 100-person square dancing club. And from what Patty, Barb, Phyllis, all of their friends said, square dancing isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. If you're into square dancing, you're into square dancing.
Wait, is there an oath you have to take? Or
I think so.
Rituals?
I think so.
It's secretly a sex cult.
They said it's
fun, it's cheap, they give you a free meal.
And you do it 3 times a week.
It's a sex cult. That's my guess.
For the elderly?
Yeah.
Wow. Get the Cialis going. So
not sponsored by Cialis.
Yeah.
We'll take it though.
Yeah, do it.
We'll take it.
I like to think of myself as a little pill of Cialis.
We know why you watch us.
So she's like the first lady of the square dancing club, the Guys and Dolls, right? And she is like about 10 years younger than everybody. And she's just fun. And she's like a little bit sexy. And she's vivacious. And like, she kind of had like a reputation for being a little bit flirty, but like never crossing the line. She was just kind of like, that was her personality. They said everyone who knew Patty.
No. I'm just saying no, I don't think so.
Everyone who knew Patty loved her. Patty felt like she was, like she was the kind of person that anyone can talk to. Everybody loved her. She was kind. She was giving. So her and her husband, they never had kids, but they were just so involved with their friends. You know what I mean? They didn't have any family in Texarkana, and they didn't have any kids, but they just like really relied on the community of the Guys and Dolls square dancing group. And they would play bridge together. They played cards 3 times a week. They went to bingo once a week. I mean, it's the oldest story ever.
No lie though, bingo's pretty fun.
Bingo?
Bingo's pretty fun.
It is fun.
It's pretty fun. It's like, what are they gonna call it?
Yeah, dude, I would love to go one time and just smoke those bitches.
Everyone's like, what number they say?
Yeah.
Don't matter, Grandma.
2 years before Patty had been murdered, there was a house fire.
Oh.
At their house. They had a nice home. It was upscale, They didn't have kids, so obviously they could live their great life.
Save a lot of money.
Yeah. He was a successful businessman, and he was retired at that point. They lived in a nice home, but this house fire destroyed their house, right? So one of the square dancers, his name is James Hyatt, he was a contractor, and he decided to take on the project of rebuilding their house. And they, pulled out all the stops. Like, they made it into a beautiful home. They had a lot of land around their house, and so they made the house bigger and more beautiful and fancier. And because he was there all the time, they got really, really close to James Hyatt and his wife, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Well, swingers?
They were like best friends. So they were like constantly going on couples dates together and like spending a lot of time together. They were part of the square dancing crew also. And so they had a fun time, You pretty much always see them together. And they were all best friends. And in their wills, in Patty and her husband's wills, they actually had made James the executor of both of their wills. Like that's how much they loved him.
Don't make your friends the executors of your will.
I don't think anyone should be the executor of your will, because that's who's going to kill you. So, anyway,
pretty much.
About a year after the home was built, this was a year before Patty had been murdered, Patty's husband had been diagnosed with dementia, and his health was at a rapid decline, right?
He's 30 years older than her.
Right. So he's just, she quit her job with working with seniors because she was so worried about him that she just wanted to take care of him. And then he had passed away, and she was a 68-year-old widow at that point.
That's young to be a widow. I think. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just under the cusp, but yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty young. So Patty still continued on his legacy at the Square Dancing Club, and she became the caller, and she was just doing that. But, rumors, it's a small town in Texarkana. She was everyone's friend and everyone loved her. So nobody really got mad that she was like a little bit flirty and stuff. But like, according to Barb and Phyllis, like everybody was in love with Patty because she was
one of those
just
people.
She was just sexy, and she was like 10 years younger than all those old ass hoes. So,
Hi, Joe Husbands.
Yeah, she was on the mic too.
Hi, Joe Husbands. They want to be Mr. Square Dance.
Yeah, and she was like, come on here and give me a kiss. Hey! And they were like, what? No, that's not the dance. That's not the dance.
You want to give you a kiss?
So, all of a sudden, rumors started coming up that Patty was having an affair with James Hyatt, right?
Yeah.
And they denied it and denied it and denied it. And all of Patty's closest friends, Barb and Phyllis and other people who knew Patty and loved her and held her to such a high standard were like, you're crazy, like there's nothing going on. So they would just shut down the rumors immediately. Yeah. Well, Virginia started to hear the rumors as well, and she didn't like it. And then...
Which one's Virginia? That's James' actual wife?
That's James' wife, yeah. Okay. James Hyatt and Virginia Hyatt. Right. So Virginia didn't like the rumors. She was starting to suspect things. They both denied it adamantly, that there was absolutely nothing going on. But then there was this weird moment in time where they both went out of town at the same time. And when James was out of town and Patty was out of town, James served Virginia with divorce papers. They were married 42 years.
Yeah.
So he never came back from his trip.
Oh.
But Patty did, because they weren't together.
Right.
They weren't on the trip together. Mm-hmm. She went to go visit a friend in New Orleans. So, it had nothing to do with her, right? So, as the police are investigating Patty's murder, they discovered that she had been shot 4 times, and then there was 1 bullet through the window that they found inside the house, and it was a .38 revolver. That's why they found no shell casings. And then they retrieved Patty's cell phone, and they found, they were going through Patty's old messages. They also saw on the counter that she had just changed her locks the night before. So they were like, that's weird.
That is weird.
You know why? People don't just randomly change their locks unless they're afraid of somebody, right?
Yeah.
So then they go through the phone and they discover Virginia saying, and I quote,
Patty, please give me my husband back. Please give me my husband back. This is horrible. I need my husband back, you bitch.
And here's another call.
No thanks.
Here's another call.
Patty, you can get any man in the street anywhere, please.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, well, here's another one.
Oh, keep them coming.
Please, please, please give me my husband back, please. I need him, please.
I'm laughing, but it's so sad.
So they were like, we need to talk to Virginia. First, they had talked to Barb and Phyllis, and they figured out that they had alibis and they had nothing to do with it. And then they talked to Kevin, who was the one who alerted them that Patty hadn't shown up for his doctor's appointment. And he said he was, quote unquote, by the cops, sweet on Patty. Who wasn't, though, right? Who wasn't sweet on Patty? She was single and available.
Having the time of her life.
Right. So he was 82 years old, and he was like, I talk to Patty every single morning at 8 a.m.
Aww.
As I like to call the early bird special. And she told me, I gotta go. Virginia just showed up again.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I never heard from her again. So then at 2 in the morning, after they had heard these cell phone calls, they go to Virginia Hyatt's house and they arrest her.
Mm-hmm.
And they interview her. And she was like, they were like, so tell us about what's going on with you and Patty. And she's like, I don't have a problem with Patty.
Oh.
I love Patty. And they were like, well, we heard that you were served with divorce papers from your husband 3 days ago. And Barb and Phyllis, your homegirls, said that you were devastated about it. And that, you seemed to be calming down after 2 days. But the first day, you were absolutely devastated. And now it doesn't seem, and then now all of a sudden you're just fine.
What happened?
Mm-hmm. And then she was like, let me tell you something. Kevin's mistaken, because on the day that she was murdered, they were like, where were you at 8 in the morning? And she was like, I was at McDonald's, and I'm quoting all of the officers. I was at McDonald's, and then I went to go see my mother to bring her breakfast from McDonald's at the nursing home.
No lie, McDonald's breakfast is kind of fire. Everyone shits on it. I kind of like it.
I'm a big Burger King breakfast girl.
I've never had Burger King breakfast.
Chicken biscuits from Wendy's?
Never had those
Talking
either.
about so good.
Try them. Damn,
But
sorry.
Yeah, so they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, if you have the alibi, we're gonna go check it out." You know. So she told them where she was, right? So they just took a little cruise on over to McDonald's. And
What year is this?
This was in 2013.
You got surveillance cameras at this point.
Mm-hmm. So they go over there and they were like, excuse me, McDonald's, can we have the surveillance cameras for this date? Mm-hmm. And they handed him over, and then
Ronald McDonald was like, sure.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-bum.
I love helping people.
And then he threw fries at him.
Like confetti, though. Here's your tapes.
Yeah. So they look at the tapes, and she was right. She was at McDonald's. But she wasn't there at 8. She was there at 9. So she had a whole hour.
What were you doing in that hour?
She had a whole hour to kill Patty and then go to McDonald's and get an Egg McMuffin for Maul. So on the surveillance video, they saw what she was wearing. And she was wearing a black t-shirt with 2 bedazzled cowboy boots. That's the most grandma shirt ever. And then they go into her house looking for the weapon. They're trying to collect all the evidence they can. They never find the weapon, but they found the shirt, and they found gun residue on it. So
there you have it.
She gets arrested. She gets booked on these charges, and they're awaiting trial. Well, before this happened, which I actually skipped over, they wanted to talk to James Hyatt.
Yeah, where's James?
Because
don't they stop James?
At first, they wanted to know his involvement, because as they were searching for motive, he was the executor of her estate and the executor of her husband's estate, and he
they tag teamed it to get the money. No, I don't know.
He had it. He had money in the will. He had like $20,000 in the will. So he was. They called him on his cell phone, and he was like, yeah, I already know that she was murdered because Phyllis and Bart called. And they were like, well, they were asking him questions. He would only answer specifically the questions that they asked, and he had a little bit of an attitude, so they were like, that's weird. Well, upon their investigation, they discovered, which Virginia didn't know, James had 2 cell phones. They were like,
I got 2.
what?
phones.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah. So he's in Miami with his sister, right?
Okay.
But he says he's coming in because he found out that she was murdered and there's a funeral and he wanted to be there
And collect his dough.
so they asked him what his involvement was, and he adamantly denied that he had never had an affair with her and that they were just best friends, right? But when they checked the second cell phone,
Old people bit, naughty pigs.
they realized that they were a little more than friends. And everyone...
Old people,
Everyone that was there said Virginia was crazy and made her look like she was an insane person who was just coming up and listening to these rumors at the square dancing guys and dolls club, and you don't need to listen to them, you're crazy. Well, guess what? Virginia wasn't crazy.
Well, she might be.
She was right. Patty was a hoe.
You do you, girl. She
Patty,
was living her best life.
You know what? Love is love. And after 42 years, guess what? When they confronted him with the news that they knew that he had a second phone and they found what they found on it.
Did he fess up?
He finally fessed up and he said, I only wanted to preserve Patty's reputation. That's all.
I feel like that might be true. I don't know. Texas,
It's a small
I
town.
feel
It's
like,
a Bible Belt. You know?
Yeah, I feel like,
Yeah, he didn't want... She was very popular, Patty. Like, she was the grande dame of square dancing. So, like, he didn't want anyone to know. But he also said he had been married to Virginia for 42 years. And the last 10 years, he had a separate bedroom. And he said that he was afraid of her, and she was tiny. Like, she was a big girl, but she was about 2 feet shorter than him.
Oh, yeah. She's a tiny girl.
He was like... I was so afraid of her that I locked my doors at night. And the only reason that I decided to leave and skip town to serve her with the papers is because both of my sisters called me and said that that Virginia called them and said, you know what? He's just looking weird and I think he might kill himself. And they were like, she gonna kill you and make it look like a suicide.
Smart girls.
Get out of there, Jimmy.
Smart girl.
And Jimmy said, whoop-a-pew. And he
Okay,
left.
but he should have maybe at least...
He begged Patty to go with him. And Patty said, you guys haven't been in a relationship for 10 years. I feel like I can talk to her. I feel like I can tell her I'm not running. And she never did go on that trip with him. She actually did go visit a friend.
Oh, okay.
But she came back and said, whatever Virginia wants to talk to me, I'm going to face it. And I'm just going to talk to her as best I can. And I'm going to try to be her friend. And I'm going to talk to her.
I like Patty so much.
Everybody liked Patty. And guess what? Nobody liked Virginia.
No, of course not.
I think they all hung out with Virginia because she was part of their club.
She's just there.
But
She's there.
sources say that he was only, in square dancing, when you're dancing and the caller is calling things out, sometimes you have to switch partners. And Virginia didn't like that. So she would only allow him to square dance with particular women that weren't a threat to her. That she didn't feel were a threat to her.
Could you imagine being one of those women? Oh, you don't think I'm hot enough to steal... You don't think I could steal your man?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Phyllis
ever,
is like,
but...
what do you mean? Oh, okay, fine. Patty's over there like calling it out on the mic, not dancing with anybody, and that's who she was on the mic with, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so she was very jealous. She did not like him dancing with other women. She was constantly following him. They said she went insane when she started to hear the rumors. She would go through all the motels in town to see if she could spot their cars.
Damn.
She was losing her fucking mind. And then when he
Damn.
served her with papers, that was just it. And then they said to James, they were like, "What do you know if Virginia had a weapon? Because we never found a weapon."
I mean, it's whatever.
Texarkana.
I'm
And
sure.
he said she had a .38 revolver.
Dun dun dun!
February 2nd, 2016. It's time for Virginia Hyatt's trial. She is up for capital murder, right? Everybody goes up there, does their testimony, and she tried to play up the old woman defense. So she would go over there like shaking.
Oh.
And she'd be like,
wait, how old was she?
she was in her mid-70s.
That's not, I mean, that's old.
Yeah, but she still shot that bitch. And she shot her 4 out of 5 times. So, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like playing up the old lady. Like
Yeah.
even the cops, when they arrested her initially, they were like, I don't know. Like, because she's like this little round old lady that's like
maybe,
5 feet tall. And they were like, I don't, this feels weird, you know? And so she's playing up the old lady trick. Like she's
Smart.
hobbling, leaning down. She, you know, she's been in jail for a couple of years now. So she's got like, her hair isn't dyed anymore and it's all gray. And she's just like, all of her mugshots, she's like, and like a couple of times they brought her in a wheelchair and they were just trying to get like the sympathy.
That's what Albert was like. They like gave him hearing aids and like wheelchair. I'm like, you've never used those before today.
Stop it, Albert. Stop it right now. So they had all this evidence on her. They had the McDonald's surveillance. They had the gun residue on the cowboy shirt. They had Kevin McLeod's testimony was not admissible because he passed away before the trial and they didn't record his conversation. So they had they couldn't say
That's
the
so
testimony
sad.
that he was on the phone with her and actually said, Virginia is here, I gotta go.
Damn!
Yeah. But it didn't matter,
Don't matter.
because they only deliberated for 1 hour.
Nice! I love that.
Yeah, they deliberated for 1 hour and found Virginia Hyatt guilty of capital murder, which in Texarkana...
Oh, wait, capital murder, that's death.
No, in Texarkana, it's an automatic life sentence.
Oh, okay. But Texas is a death, but they didn't go for a death penalty?
She's in
Texarkana?
Arkansas.
How does that work?
She's in the women's
Okay,
prison
okay.
of Arkansas, so I think that probably has something to do with it. And it was an automatic life sentence.
Good.
Yeah. Virginia, your square dancing days are over.
Just like Patty's. Burn, burn, burn.
You know that Patty, because she didn't have heirs, she left all of her estate to several charities and left all of her friends at the Guys and Dolls, all of her best friends, she gave them all $10,000 in her will.
Patty, I love you so much.
Even the detectives that were investigating the case said that from what they gathered about Patty, like she was just such a generous, kind, loving soul. And people were still like giving the interviews, still crying over her death. And they were just friends. They weren't any blood relatives.
May we all be more like Patty.
Yeah. You know what? Goals. Like, I want to be loved like that, like Patty. I need to stop being such a bitch.
I don't think you're a bitch.
I don't think you're a bitch.
Bitch. You ain't no bitch.
Yeah, but she was like so sweet and awesome.
Aww.
Poor Patty.
Well, you did a really great job with that.
Thank you. I hope I gave Patty some justice and,
Yeah, I think you definitely did.
little bitter Virginia is probably sitting there like,
She's still alive?
what?
You know?
Yeah, she's still alive. Oh, and the best part is,
Oh.
during her trial, when it was time for her husband to give testimony, he showed up with a new girlfriend from the square dancing club.
Oh!
Jimmy, you naughty man. You moved on quick, boy. I'll tell you what.
He's like, fuck that bitch.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. And I got this inheritance from somebody else, too.
Hey. Oh, man.
Yeah. Jimmy was he was a wild boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never found out who became the new caller of the square dancing, and I know.
We have to know. That was my next question.
Yeah, I know. I just totally fucked up the story.
What was
now.
this all for then?
I know. I know. Guys and dolls, who's calling it now? They're all just aimlessly dancing. They don't know what to do.
Are you my partner?
Am I supposed to do this? Yeah. Yeah. Square dancing, bingo, old people, bridge. I gave it all to you guys.
You gave it all. It was there.
I silver slayed it.
That was a really good one.
Thank you.
I liked hearing about Patty and learning about her, which is what we try to do with these. And now is the time, if you're new, if this is your first time with us, or if you just never watched to the end of our episodes, we do a honorary shot for our victims, and we talk about them a little bit. Just
tonight we have Tequila.
Okay, so we're starting our own tequila brand called Tequila. No, Tequila. That's what we should do. That we should get on that.
Yeah.
So to Sandra and to Kim and to the other woman that Albert did not kill but harassed, we tell your story, and we hope to enact legal and social justice to where these things are preventable. We
point it out because we want people to know that people shouldn't get away with this.
Preventable.
It could have.
So mine's to you guys and to all other victims of domestic violence.
And to Patty Wheelington, you sound like you were a freaking great time.
Yes.
You were a great time.
And just a genuine human.
Yeah, she worked with seniors, and then after she, her husband died, she just dove into her friends' lives and would take them to their doctor's appointments. She would go get them groceries. She would give them rides places. Like, you were just a kind soul, and someone took your life away. You weren't perfect, but you tried to handle it like a grown-up, and somebody didn't give you that chance. And I'm very sorry for that.
Very sorry. So cheers to you
guys. Cheers to you guys. Here we go. All right.
Delish. So,
I love you, Patty.
Love you. Love you. 2021. We're doing a podcast format, so if you don't like looking at us, you can just pop us in your car and listen to us.
But don't tell us, because it hurts our feelings.
Yeah, don't tell us. Don't tell us. Just do it and share it with your friends.
And don't forget to follow us on our socials at @KillingTimeShow.
Our murder tea, our most recent murder tea was on the Army Hammer controversy. Watch that one, please. And also, we want to shout out our 200th Instagram follower, Alfonso's Pizzeria.
Alfonso's Pizzeria in Tampa, Nebraska.
If you're in Tampa, try this place. They also have really good cookies, it looks like. Oh my god.
Look at the pictures of the food. Like, it'll make your mouth.
They're on Grubhub, Uber, DoorDash, Postmates. Okay, so we're doing this we're doing this right now. But yes, they're our 200th Instagram follower. Thank you so much.
And our 100th YouTube subscriber, Jay Heidel.
Yay!
His Insta is dtsp.realtor.j.
Whoop, whoop.
He became our 100th subscriber on YouTube, and we got an email saying congratulations on your 100th subscriber.
Yeah, YouTube
from
did
YouTube.
little confetti.
They did a little confetti for us because
We're
of you, Jay.
up, you guys.
Because of you, Jay, and Alfonso's Pizza. You guys rock. Well, thank you so much. That's our show for tonight. I'm Mimi.
I'm Emily.
Thanks for killing time with us.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers, bud.
Cheers. 2021. I look like a poodle. Or like one of those dogs with the rolly ear hair.
It was just nice because you were like, okay, fine. I look like a poodle.